Hello, my name is Deep Shrestha, and I am here to explain about my work. So, how it goes. So, this is my weather.js JavaScript code. So, the first thing we've done here is the constant API key. The constant API key, it defines your Open Weather app API key as a constant, and then we have constant API URL. Uh, this is the base URL for your backend PHP API that fetches weather data. The city name will be appended to this. And after this, we will learn about this all this constant search box, constant search btn, constant weather icon. It all this all selects and stores reference to various DOM elements for later manipulation. And then we will learn about functions, save to local storage, CD data. So what it does is saves the last search city and its weather data in the browser local storage. Where the data is stringified JSON because local storage stores the strings only. And after that, we will learn about function load from score on local storage. So what it basically does is retrieves saved data and weather data from local storage. If data exists, sets the input box to the last city and updates the UI and save weather info. And and the other is a sync function check weather city. So what it does is basically hides error and weather info sections before fetching new data. And after that, we'll learn about constant response. And what it does is sends a get request to your backend PSP API with the encoded city named and API key. After that, we after that we will learn about the HTTP response okay. If HTTP response is not okay, status not on status is 200, shows it shows error messages and it stops execution. And after that, we learn about constant data. Constant data it basically parses the responses body as JSON, and after that, we will learn about array like this here. So if our data is an array with at least one element, saves and updates UI. If there is an error message in the response, it displays it. Otherwise, shows a generic error message. And after that, there is catch error. So what it basically does is catches network or parsing errors, logs them, and shows the network error messages. And after that, we will learn about function update weather UI. So what it does is updates the city name, temperature, humidity, wind speed, and pressure elements with data. After that, there is constant now. Constant now is for the new data. So what it does is gets current data, time, and formats. It's nicely for display. And the other one is weather icon of SRC. So what it does is sets the weather icon images source and alt text. And the other one is error element. Error element. So the error element, what it does is hides error messages and shows the weather info section. And after that, we have event listeners. So what the event listener, when search button is clicked, it gets input values and calls check weather if not empty. And after that, we have source box dot add event listener. When the keys enter when enter key is pressed in input box, it triggers the SIM source. And after that, we have window onload. So the window onload is tries to load and display the source city weather. Yeah. So That is all for my Windows.js. This is my PSP code. So, like, I will be explaining my code in a summary. So, so what basically PSP does is the main function of PSP is database connection. It connects to MySQL using credentials. Creates a weather table if it doesn't exist with volume for city, temperature description, icon, humidity, pressure, and extra. Yeah, and what it does is request handling, checks for queue parameter, sanitizes input to prevent SQL injection, cache lookup. Uh, so it queries the database for cache where the data for the city. If data exists and is less than 1 hour old, returns cache data as JSON immediately. It also fetches fresh data. If no cache or cache expired, calls open weather map app API for current weather. Passes JSON response on error, returns JSON error messages. And the other what it does is database update. If city exists in DB, updates the record with fresh data. Otherwise, inserts a new record. It also returns data, fetches the updated record from DB, returns it as JSON array. So the important notes which to be noted here is it uses prepared statements to prevent SQL injection, catches data for 1 hour to reduce API calls, returns consistent JSON structure for front-ending parsing, and it includes course header for cross origin request if needed. Um, so the how all that works together here is user interaction, fronted JS, PSP backend, fronted JS, user sees user interaction, user enters a city name and clicks search. Fronted JS sends a request to your PSP backend with the city name. PSP backend checks cache in my SQL. If recent data exists, returns it. Fronted JS receives JSON data, updates UI with weather info and icon. User sees nicely informative weather info with temperature, humidity, wind pressure, and icon. So this is my HTML file. The HTML file defines the structure of a modern weather application. It starts with a standard document declaration and sets the language to English inside the head. It specifies the character encoding and links to an external CSS file for styling. The main content is wrapped inside a main element with a class called weather container, which serves as the app's primary container. And within the container, there is a search bar section that includes a text input where users can type the name of a city and a button with a magnifying glass icon for submitting the search. Below the search bar, there is a hidden error message section that becomes visible if the user enters an invalid city name of or if fetching weather data fails. Then there is a weather information section, also initially hidden, which displays the weather icon, temperature, city name, current data, and additional weather details such as humidity, wind speed, and atmospheric pressure. And the other one is the weather CSS. The CSS file styles the app with a modern and clean look. It defines colors, variables for consistent theming, including a dark background for the page and a white card background for the weather container. The body uses Flexbox to center the app vertically and horizontally on the screen, creating a neat and focused layout. The weather container itself has rounded corners and a subtle shadow to give it a card-like appearance. The search bar uses Flexbox to place the input field and search button side by side with spacing in between. The input field has padding and rounded edges with a smooth border. Color transition on focus to highlight user interaction. The search button is styled with the accent color and changes it slightly on hover to indicate it's clickable. Error messages are styled with a soft red background and bold red text, making them noticeable but not harsh. The weather information section arranges the weather icon and temperature horizontally with the city name and data centered below. Additional weather details are spaced evenly across the container for clarity. Overall, the design is responsive, user friendly, and visual appealing, making it easy for users to search for and weather information. That's all for my board. So yes, this is my weather app, and whatever the city name I type here directly shall be saved in the local host. Whatever the city I type here directly goes to localhost and it gets saved there. Like if I type Japan, it says it's 30 degrees Celsius in Japan right now. So it's not here. So I have to reload it. As you can see, um, the Japan, the country name that I typed in my weather app, it is recorded here. So as you can see, it's working. So this is my overall project. Hope you liked it, and I made a lot of blunders and lot of mistakes in my weather app, and I know it was not perfect. I will try to, and I will do my best to not repeat it again. I will try to better myself, and uh, and I will do a lot better in my upcoming exams and assignments. So this is all for my project work. Hope you liked it. So I will like to end my video here. Thank you.